Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Nilambujasyamalakomalangam Sita Samaropitavamabhagam Panau Mahashayakacharu Chapam Namami Ramam Raghuvanshanatham. This is a verse of invoking Lord Rama's grace. I have chosen it from Ayodhya Kand, adorations to Lord Rama, whose complexion is like a blue lotus, who is very tender and delightful in appearance. You must realize all this is highly allegorical. Complexion is like a blue lotus. The complexion is not just limited to the appearance of the lotus, but what does the lotus convey to you? It's untouched by the limitations of its surroundings. It grows in punk, lot of mud, and yet untouched by it. So, all the divine movement grows in mud. That mud is prapancha. But grows in such a way, it goes on negating names and forms. You have Sat Chit Ananda, name and form. It's called prapancha, the fivefold. The fivefold of the five, three is Brahman. Those two are mental projections. How to live your life? Well, understanding those mental projections are the projections of the Divine Self. They are sustained by the Divine Self. Just like projections on a screen are sustained by the screen. So the Divine Self is the reality. Siya Ram Mai Sab Jag Jani. Knowing the entire world to be Sita and Rama. Karau Pranam Jori Jugapani. With folded hands, I bow down to that God. So he is very tender. And tender doesn't imply ordinary physical tenderness. When the sun begins to rise, the rays of the sun are tender. Softest you can imagine. Because when the rays spread out in the sky, you hardly hear any noise. All the colors spread out. For a human being to do that, even in a little spot, they will create a noise for several days, 8 days. So, the entire divine process is extremely tender and delightful. Shitala Manda Sugandha, cool, gentle, fragrant. The different words are used in different contexts. Satyam, Shivam, Sundaram. Truth, auspiciousness, and divine beauty. She is seated on his left side, and he is carrying a powerful bow and arrow in his hands. Sita Devi has two implications. She is Prakriti. Brahman and Maya Shakti. They are the basis of the entire creation. Maya Shakti is like a magical power of Brahman. That magical power is understood by the soul As the soul develops Viveka Buddhi, discriminative intellect, and Sita Devi plays that role in the Ramayana. She is the Viveka Buddhi, and Rama has to bring Sita back from the clutches of Sattva, Rajas, Tamas. And I will not go into further details. With this, we are entering into the Ramayana, the very first verse known as Soratha. Jo sumirat siddhi hoi, gananayak karibar badan, karau anugraha soi, buddhi rasi subhat gun sadan. Remembering that God, Ganesha, one attains success in all projects. He is the Lord of Ganas. Ganas are God particles. And his face is of a very handsome elephant. All this is allegorical. Ganesha is Om personified. His head, if you write it down, it will be like a cartoon of Om with a trunk coming out. And just to remind you of why is Ganesha the first worshipped god in Puranic stories. Firstly, Mother Parvati goes into a beautifying process, into bath, and mud from her body she shapes into a little creature, implying it is Ganesha movement is a movement of purification and beautification. Very Prakriti loves Ganesha movement. Because the moment Ganesha movement continues, all that is latent, good, beautiful, joyous, all begin to manifest. The Ganesha is the embodiment of pure intellect. But in this context, when an aspirant is moving on the spiritual path, Ganesha gives the blessings of awakening the purity of intellect. Buddhi ki rashi. All that you need to know will begin to develop in your personality. Knowledge, again, you have to understand, has two aspects. Intellectual knowledge that goes on enriching you if that intellectual knowledge is sattvic. And it is Ganesha's grace that type of knowledge begins to enter your heart. And Ganesha is the abode of divine qualities. Shubhagun Sadan. Shubhagun, all the virtuous qualities, humility, generosity, devotion to God. And think of all that patience, perseverance, all that is known as Daivi Sampat, all divine qualities. Ganesha is the abode. In other words, if you were to open your mind on the path of Om Upasana, Ganesha is the very embodiment of Om. And whatever Om implies. And then following the Hindu tradition, Ganesha has been brought into a form, name and form. Ganesha is is the most prominent name and form in all the Hindu temples from north to south. Another highlight of his face is Ekadanta. Out of 2 tusks, 1 tusk is broken. Relative consciousness has 2 tusks, raga, dvesha, attachment and hatred. But in Ganesha, there is nothing but divine love. And so there are many meanings, and we may give you those meanings in different contexts. But worshipping Ganesha has its profound meaning, subtle meaning. If you commence a project adoring Ganesha, the project draws such environment, rather the atmosphere of satsanga. You are invoking, another way of saying, the great mantras of the scriptures invoke the highest knowledge, asato ma sadgamaya. From asat, unreal, lead us to the real. Tamaso ma jyotirgamaya. From darkness, lead us to light. From death, lead us to immortality. Mrityor ma amritam gamaya. You are dealing in a world of asat, unreal, shadows of darkness and death, and turning your mind to the most auspicious, Ganesha, like you are facing a dark night with all the forces of darkness shouting here, shouting there. And in that atmosphere, you are invoking the sun. And that invocation begins to work like Ganesha's personality. Mukh hoi bachal, pangu chadhai girivar gahan, jasu kripa sodayal, dravau sakal kalimal dahan. By whose grace a dumb becomes eloquent with good language, and a lame begins to scale the heights of mountains. He is the destroyer of all the sins of Kali Yuga. That means all the malos, malas, gross impurities, anger, greed, hate, passion, and so forth. That God, supremely merciful, may He shower His grace on us. Neel saroruh syam, tarun arun varijanayan, karau somama uradham, sada chir sagar sayan. And whose complexion is like blue lotus. His eyes are like fully blossomed red lotus. All these have allegorical meaning. Red is the mystical color of divine love. Lali mere lal ki jit dekhaun tit lal. When the sun rises, there is nothing more magnificent throughout the day than the rising of the sun. Nothing more magnificent in one's life than the rising of wisdom. Nothing more attainable than rising of devotion, love of God. That love is called Lali, Lali mere lal ki. And therefore, in Hindu homes, children are called Lal, Lali, Lalas. They are beloved ones. So that's the type of eyes Ganesha has. When you receive his grace, that love of Ganesha's eyes reflects in your eyes. That means you develop profound devotion to God. That's another point in the Tulsi Ramayana. The Tulsi Ramayana gives all about bondage to release. It encompasses Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Dhyana Yoga, Jnana Yoga, all the yogas. But the predominance is given of Bhakti Yoga, devotion. Because it is devotion that brings a juice in your heart, rasa, prema rasa. And Tulsidas ji and all great saints and sages, they were very accomplished in presenting a literature that your mind begins to enjoy. And when the mind begins to enjoy, unconscious begins to grab the subtle teachings behind the literature. This point was brought out. I have mentioned to you 9 rasas, 9 sentiments. Tulsidas ji has deliberately created episodes, contexts, situations that invoke special sentiments. I'll just give you the names. I have also mentioned before, but sometimes repeating the same thing is Gada Parinyaya. First is Shringar. For the masses, romantic sentiment is the highlight. You go through all the films and music and all that. It is romance and romantic sentiments that captures the mind of people. The next, hasya, humor. If only one sentiment is highlighted, it will become boring. Next is karuna, pathos. All these rasas, in different contexts, what seems like pathos may be extremely joyous. Raudra, next sentiment, terror. Mother looks at a child, and child can't understand why did she become so terrible. Because the child has to change his cloth. Sentiment called Adbhut, wonder. Shant, serene. Sentiment of Veer, valor. Bhayanak, fearsome. Vibhats, disgusting. So all those sentiments are brought together. And all these sentiments are yoked into 4 major sentiments of Bhakti Yoga. And what are the 4 major sentiments? Shant. First is so calm and serene that hardly you know what's happening in the heart of the devotee. The next, called Dasya. Dasya is slave and master. The third level, the sequence doesn't matter. Third level, Vatsalya. Vatsalya is mother and child. God is like your child. The next, friendly love, Sakhya, like Arjuna was friendly to Krishna. And the final one is called Madhurya, sweet, like Radha's love for Krishna. So 4 bhakti sentiments are like big pillars of the palace of bhakti. And each pillar has been magically set to create 9 rasas. So a lot of magic is going on. This is inspiring for the artists. Neel saroruh syam tarun arun varijanayan karau swamam urdham sada chir sagar sayan. Now this is a prayer to Lord Vishnu. Lord Vishnu, who is Neel Saroru, is a blue lotus, and his eyes are also red. Tarun Arun, the sun appearing through swarthy clouds, clouds that are going to bring shower of rain, and the sun behind it appears like a fully blossomed red lotus. That Lord who sleeps in milky ocean, may he abide in our heart. Milky ocean is pure sattva. You have to always understand Prakriti, study of Prakriti, nature. All things are studied under 3 classes. Tamas is inertia, crudeness, dullness. Rajas is distraction, speed, lot of activities. Sattva, calmness, divine glow. You can study the universe in different ways under these 3 categories, Sattva, Rajas and Tamas. And it is a very scientific study. But if you apply it to your mind, your study becomes much more effective. How to understand your mind and to see the difference between sattvic, rajasic and tamasic mind. And knowing the disadvantages of tamasic and rajasic, how to promote sattva in your mind. To promote sattva, God must be envisioned by you as the embodiment of sattva. That's subtle psychology of upasana. Whatever is lacking in you, try to meditate on God who possesses that quality in infinite measure. You are lacking purity. Meditate on God as embodiment of purity. You are lacking serenity. Meditate on God as Shantam, Shivam, Sundaram. And that's, therefore God has so many names. He has so many aspects, countless attributes that allows your mind to turn to Brahman in countless ways. But all this also becomes a source of confusion for the masses. my God is better than his God. But there lies the error, ignorance, dullness, demoniac movement. Kundaindu samade umaraman karunayan jahi deen parane karau kripa mardanamayan, whose body is snowy white like a jasmine blossom, who is the beloved of Parvati and the abode of mercy, whose compassion showers for all those who turn to him. He, Shiva, the destroyer of Kama, may that Shiva shower his grace on us. For any beginning, any project to begin, these divine attributes are brought to your mind. First to come to your mind is Ganesha. Then to come to your mind, Vishnu, Shiva. Think of more. Then you end up with Guru. And that's not the totality. If you are turning to Devis, then you have to first go through Durga Devi, Lakshmi Devi, Saraswati Devi. But behind all Devis and Devatas, there is a general pattern. Ganesha is the beginning. Bandhav Gurupad Kanj Kripa Sindhu Nararupa Hari Mahamohatama Punj Jasubachan Varavikar Nikar. I offer adorations to the lotus feet of Sadguru. When we write Sadguru, some read it Sad Guru. Sad is absolute existence. And how should you view Guru? Now, just to give you a simple sample, you are talking to someone who is full of reverence for you, an adorable person, and you have phone in your hand. That phone is a symbol of that reverential person. Similarly, the personality of a sage is like that divine phone. And through that personality, you are not aware of the limitations of the personality, but you are aware of the source. That is the divine presence that is operating through the personality of a sage. And that's the greatest wonder in a spiritual movement. If that was not so, if there was no one to guide you on the spiritual path, and the guiding you is highly allegorical. It begins with just simply touching the foot and expressing a feeling, a shraddha, that somehow the dust of the feet of Guru, first to know that Guru has reached the divine's attainment. So naturally he must have gathered all the required dust. So if you are putting your hand on that dust and applying it to your eyes, You are tuning yourself to that subtle, Saddha-based goal. But however, it is an awakener. When proper Saddha is awakened and you come under the guidance of Guru, of course you are led to follow integral yoga. You learn the art of karma yoga, bhakti yoga, dhyana yoga, jnana yoga, according to your different levels, and ashram with different sets of aspirants. They help each other, because all are not karma yogis of the same type. So, you receive inspiration, karma yogi receives inspiration from a bhakti yoga. Bhakti yoga receives inspiration from a jnana yoga, and so forth. Until you realize yoga is only one. And the overpowering reality of all this, love of Rama. And therefore this statement, Mukti Bhakti ki dasi hai. Liberation is the maid servant of devotion. Bandham Guru Pad Padum Paraga, Guruchi Suvasa Sarasa Anuraga, Amiya Muri Maya Churan Charu, Saman Sakal Bhavaruja Parivaru. Now the glory of Guru cannot be fully described. That's the highlight of all Hindu scriptures. And it is brought out by saintly poets. Guru Govinda dono kare kako lagu paए, balihari un Guru ki jo Govinda diyo dikhaye. The meaning is, Guru and Govind, you started following the path Guru showed you, and you come to a state of realization that Guru brought Govinda. So Guru is one side, Govinda on the other side, hand in hand they have come to the devotee. Will the devotee ignore Guru and turn to Govinda? No. Balihari un Guru ki. It is the glory of his Guru that led him to Govinda, led him to God. So that type of relationship exists. It's mystical. You don't have to take it literally. In other words, if you have any subtle idea that you have attained enlightenment, the mind should not develop the notion that now you don't need Guru. That mystic dust of the lotus feet of Guru, Tulsidasi describes it. Suruchi, Suvas, it exudes beautiful taste. But in order to taste that, your mind has to become a bee. Brahmar Geet Nyaya. Your mind has to develop a special ability of doing japa. Suvas, another characteristic of the lotus feet of Guru, is fragrance. Remember the story of fragrance, how the fisherwomen, they must have fragrance of fish. So the covered their noses with a special fish net and put little water into that. That's exactly the predicament of the world. Happiness everybody wants, but that happiness is Vishaya Sukh. And the characteristic of Vishaya Sukh is always God's. But if mind is not advanced, then godly joy becomes fishy smell. The idea is Guru's feet, the dust of Guru's feet allow you to develop love for God. You begin to be drawn to the fragrance of devotion. But to the masses, that fragrance of devotion is foul. So how to remedy it? Put a fish net on your nose, sprinkle a lot of water. They agree with it. See, the nature agrees with you. Suruchi, beautiful taste. Sugandh, beautiful fragrance. Anurag, a special type of attachment. An attachment that is followed by increasing joy. That's called anurag. All worldly attachments are followed by burden. Not always, but most of the attachments, the more you go on imagining, whatever object, you want a pet, you got a pet, now you become attached to the pet. So even though you are somewhere else, your mind is, we have given the pet a little the modern technology. I'm joking, but instead of your being relaxed, since you have found the object of your love, you should be happy, but that's not so. But when you develop sattvic love, sattva comes into the mathematics of your nature. Then, the more you develop sattva, greater is your joy. So ultimately, the immense joy comes by love of God. That dust of the lotus feet of Guru is the mystic churna, powder of Sanjivani Bhuti. Sanjivani Bhuti is that mystical herb that will give you immortality. And where will you find it? If you were to take the churna of that root, and the churna of the root is the Guru's lotus feet. As a result of this medicinal churna, powder, bhavarog, the diseases of the world process along with their entire family are cut down. Later those diseases will be described. The diseases imply all types of troubles in this world: birth, death, along with the troubles of the body, mind, intellect. With this, I will conclude. Om Shanti.